Good evening. It is Thursday, the 8th of December, 2022. As I keep saying, the year is nearly over, which is quite disturbing. Also, what's disturbing is the amount of people who died for the Qatar World Cup, and apparently another migrant worker has died, and apparently the official line from Qatar is that death is a part of life. Especially in that part of the world, I guess. Okay, but it's a game. It's for a fucking football match. It's literally for a game. It's a game. No one should have to die for a game. All right? It's a game. It's just some blokes kicking round a fucking ball. It's a game. No one should die. No one should die. I don't think any construction workers died in the making of the 2012 Olympics. Let's look it up. Should we have a look? Maybe 3 people died and it was a huge fucking thing on the news. I don't recall it, but then I wasn't in the country in the 3 years leading up to the Olympics, so I don't know. But I'm pretty sure that if 6,500 people died in the construction of the London Olympics, it will be front page news. I've just got this feeling. And people are like, why are we having this Olympics when so many people died? I don't know. Anyway, you can tell me in the chat. So today we're going to be talking about Harry and Meghan. Not that much. You know I never stick to the topic at hand. I just like the title, the Gambusters, because these fuckers, oh my God, they like to bust the gams, don't they? The poor old gammons, those blood vessels. Those blood vessels are bulging, and hopefully before the end of the show tonight, I'll be able to show you some headlines from the newspapers, predictably tomorrow morning, which will be going off on one about Harry and Meghan doing X, Y, Z. I don't know if any of you watched the 3 episodes on the Netflix of the Netflix series that they've made, the documentary series, but I haven't. But I watched a bit of the first one, and basically it just seems like a bit of a, this is us, this is what we do. It doesn't seem too controversial at the moment. Hopefully in the last 3, maybe there's going to be a lot of controversy. That would be great, but we'll have to see. Big hello to David and to Graham. Hey, everybody. Here's Dr. Nick voice. We've got Darren Christian there as well. We've got Pineapple Boy. Hope everyone is warm tonight. I'm not fucking freezing, mate. I did have my beanie hat on, but I took it off to put my Akuba on, so you'd recognise me. Because otherwise you'd be like, "Who's that fucker there?" Oh, that reminds me. While I've got you. No, actually, I'm going to Liverpool tomorrow, and I've got to remember to take a bunch of stuff with me, and I need to add marker pen to the list. I've just done that. That's okay. Right, the list is there. Now, this is weird because I've got a monitor which shows your messages coming up here to my left, which is really weird because that's my right hand. But it's weird. But yeah, no, to my right. It's my right, isn't it? That is my right. Yeah. But it's to my left when I'm looking at the screen. Oh God, it's confusing. Anyway, so some of your messages are not coming up on my YouTube chat, but they are coming up down here. And one of them's from Graham, and his first message came up. All right, you just got to bear with me for a moment while I do some technical things. There you go. Graham says, so the Tories spent the 80s shutting down coal mines. Now they want to open new ones. Who would have thunked it? Yeah. The Tories don't give a fuck. If there's money to be made, there's money to be made. That is the Tory mentality. That's the Tory mantra. That is it. Money to be made. Fuck yeah, money to be made. That's all they're obsessed with. It's all they care about. It's the only thing that keeps them warm at night. Because obviously their cold dead hearts don't. I fucking made it for once, says the Lefty Boater. Well done, Lefty Boater. Thank you for making it. Shut up, Piers Morgan. Sorry, I mean hello. I'm not Piers Morgan. What the fuck, Duke? Do you want to go? Do you want to fucking call me Prunus fucking Morgan? Yoda. Squire, get my horse. Right, best moment of the week, eating pizza and watching my lovely Graham. Oh, thanks very much, David. I could do with a bit of pizza right now. So yeah, hello to everyone. Hello to you all. So yeah, Harry and Meghan, I don't really give a fuck that much about the royal family as just a thing. Like, I'm not a royal watcher. I find that kind of creepy. You know, if there's any other family and you go, what do you do? Well, I watch the Smiths. Who? What? The people over the road. I watch them. That's what I do. I'm a Smith watcher. What? Why would you watch your neighbours? Because I'm a watcher and I watch them and their children and I comment on them and I write about them in my newspaper. That's really weird, mate. That's a really weird thing to do. Do you have that on your business card? Do you have that on your Royal Watcher? You fucking weirdo. That's a weird job. That is very strange. Yeah. And there's a royal commentator as well, isn't it? Well, I guess they're just commenters. Royal commentator. Seriously? That's a job? What do you do? Well, I comment on this family. Oh, which family? Oh, you know, the Wisharts down the road. You comment on a family. Yeah, that's what I do. I'm a commenter. I literally do a commentary about what this family's doing. What do they do? Oh, you know, they get married, have affairs, open things. And I look at what they're doing and go, yeah, that's all right. Or I go, you fucking cunt! How dare you do that thing? Oh, I'm really upset now. Oh, but what's it got to do with you? Well, you know, it's my job. I have to comment on it. What the fuck? Isn't it weird? Isn't it really weird? It always reminds me of that Room 101. I think it was Marcus Brigstock was on Room 101. And he said he wants to put critics in Room 101. And whoever was the co-host at the time, I think it might have been Paul Merton. He said, well, you know, isn't that bad? Like someone who's on TV saying you don't want critics. He says, yeah, but imagine you die and you go to heaven. And St. Peter goes, so you're at the pearly gates, and St. Peter goes, what did you do with your life? And you go, well, I didn't do much, really. What did you make? What did you create? I didn't make anything. I didn't create anything. I just looked at what other people created and said, that's a bit shit. Royal commentator. Jesus Christ. Why do you allow the right wing set the agenda of what to talk about? You don't give a monkey about them, yet you talk about them. Well, no, I don't care about the royal family. I don't care about the ins and outs of the royal family, but I do care about the fact that our country is overrun by a bunch of fucking senile toffs who have the brain power of an average fucking lettuce and are elevated into these positions of power which they should not hold. And one of the facets of that is they have a complete stranglehold on the media. And this is a story more, as I was going to get to, it's not really about the royals, it's about the media and the power of the media in this country, especially the tabloid newspapers. A power that is waning in a way, because the newspaper circulation figures are way down to what they used to be in their heyday in the 80s and 90s. And that's because of everyone going online. But then again, the Mail Online is the most read news source on the internet. And it's bullshit. It's 90% fucking bullshit. And so much so that you can't use the Mail for doing citations when you're doing a Wikipedia article, because they just won't believe you. Oh, Alexis is there with a quid in the pot. Thank you very much, Alexis. Hello. Clap for the nurses. Clap for the strikers. Clap for the striking nurses. This cup of tea is nice. Oh, thank you. That reminds me, I've got a cup of tea here, which I'm going to have some of. I've got a really sore throat today. I hope I'm not getting COVID, because that would suck. Not even a lettuce. They have a brain power of a rotten cabbage, says Duke Vengeance. I love that when you say, these people are slugs. And then you go, that's an insult to slugs. Like the slugs are going to be offended. Anyway, but I digress. So, back to the main topic, the Gambusters. So these guys, these two, this is Prince Harry. So he's the second son of Prince Charles and Lady Diana, Princess Diana, who passed away in 1997 at the age of 36, which I always find quite shocking. She was only 36. Shit! They only got together in 2016. That I was like, what? What? 2016? That's insane. It feels like they've been together for ages, just because, like forever, just because of the way that the media frenzy followed them everywhere. But from what I get, the vibes, these guys are suing pretty much every major newspaper in the country for invasion of privacy and just being general twats. And I can get where Prince Harry's coming from, because his mum was killed by the media. She was straight up killed by the paparazzi. in front of the whole of the paparazzi who were chasing her. They basically chased her down a tunnel, and the chauffeur had a bit to drink, and he lost control, and she wasn't wearing a safety belt, and she died. And that's terrible. And Harry at the time was only a kid. I think he was like 11 years old or something. And he was made to walk behind the coffin all the way. I mean, it's just a bit weird and grim and shit. Anyway, so then he went on to fight for our country in someone else's country, which I never quite understand. It's not like the Afghans were making threats to us directly, but I suppose they were kind of, allowing Al-Qaeda training camps, such as they were, on their premises, on their property, and that had to be gone away with. So, but I mean, he went out there, he flew a helicopter, he did all the shit, he did what he was supposed to do. And then he got back and he fell in love with Meghan Markle, who was an actress on American TV who'd already made probably not a vast fortune, but she was on a show called Suits, which is about Swiss lawyers in New York being Swiss lawyers, which was all right, wasn't terrible, wasn't brilliant, but, it was okay. But she did that on her own steam, there wasn't someone in the background. She wasn't born into a position of power or anything like that. And then she met Prince Harry in 2016, I think, and they got together. And the problem is that Meghan's mum is black. And a lot of people had a problem with that, particularly the gammon. They pretended they didn't, but they did. And what kind of, frustrates me the most, and I get like this when I'm watching TV shows or movies or whatever, lost opportunity. When there's opportunity to do something very funny or witty or clever or strange or, and you just end up with some pedestrian shit, That always frustrates me when you're watching a movie and they just do what you expect them to do. I always say that I like movies where I just can't predict what's going to happen next. Even though they're just completely wacky. So I really like David Lynch, for instance. Like, no fucking clue what's going to happen next in a David Lynch movie. I really don't think anyone has got a fucking clue what happens next in a David Lynch movie. Quentin Tarantino movie goes against the grain. You really don't know what's going to happen. You can't really work it out. It's very cleverly done. Other movie makers, their movies are predictable. And they're all a bit samey. The only Marvel TV show that I really enjoyed was Moon Knight, and I enjoyed it because it was wacky and just bonkers, and it just made no sense, and that's why I liked it, because it was unpredictable, and I like the unpredictableness of it. So back to the royal family. They now have a woman who is marrying the second in line to the throne. I know he's not anymore, but he was back in the day the second in line, third in line to the throne. Sorry, after Prince Charles and his eldest son, Prince William. And there was such an opportunity there for the royal family, because we have this thing called the Commonwealth, which I think is about 54 countries around the world. And the vast majority of the people who live in the Commonwealth are not white. They're not white. They're not white people. Canada's only got 40 million people. Australia's, 27 million? New Zealand's 4.7. Yeah, not many people, not many whiteys in the Commonwealth. South Africa, more black people live there than white people. Statistical fact. So if a woman with black heritage marries into the family, that's an opportunity to strengthen the Commonwealth, right? Right? Wrong. You couldn't be more wrong. I mean, just they just missed the opportunity. They made Meghan feel completely uncomfortable and afraid for her own well-being, which I understand. And Prince Harry, he lost his mum literally to the media, and the royal family were doing nothing to protect his new wife from the media, who were putting out all kinds of crazy news stories. And I don't know how many of these you saw, but there was a famous meme that went out and it put the two stories next to each other. And there'd be one about Princess Kate or Princess Catherine, who was always, she whatever she did was great. So she had these particular flowers in her bouquet, and that was amazing that she had those flowers. And Meghan had the exact same flowers. I think it was Lily of the Valley from Breaking Bad, which could have killed the little girl holding the flowers. If she'd eaten the flowers, she might have died from that. Eating the flowers. I mean, something humans do very often, eating flowers, but maybe if she just, thought she was a goat for a moment and ate the flowers, she might die. And then there's a story about Kate having an avocado, and it's how wonderful she's having an avocado. That's amazing. I mean, this is literally a fucking news story, isn't it? Like, Kate Middleton has a avocado for lunch. Oh, great. Fuck yeah, fantastic. And then the same story, but when it was about Meghan, was like, this bloody Meghan woman, she's using avocados that have been grown in countries where there's a despotic regime and people die at the age of 2 and the I was like, what? She's funding terrorism! And you think, oh, you must be making that up, Graham. They didn't actually say that Meghan Markle was funding terrorism through eating avocado on toast. Yeah, they really did say that. They said she was funding terrorism, supporting terrorism. So you're just like, what the fuck? Jesus, what? So the newspapers all had it in for Meghan in the same way that they all had it in for Princess Diana. Memories are short. I remember before the end of September 1997, when Princess Diana was still alive, she was very much public enemy number 1 to a lot of royal commentators, royal watchers. I'm a royal watcher. Got me night vision goggles. Oh, I can see them across Green Park. Fucking weirdos. I can smell her chips. Yeah. So royal watchers, royal commentators. Fucking what the fuck, Jesus. Anyway, so these people existed in the 90s, and they were just as vile as they are now. And basically, they were a bunch of toffs who went, well, I don't think that Princess Diana is really should be part of the royal family. After all, she's very common. Very common. Very fucking common. She grew up in a fucking mansion. She went to private school, of course. I mean, like, what the fuck? She's common? She's coming. What? Yeah, well, and he was always in love with Camilla. And what, did phones not exist in the 70s? You not phone up and say, listen, I love you, so don't marry some other guy. And she'd go, okay, then I won't marry the other guy. I don't know. Fucking why not do... I don't know. Look, it's not my business to talk about someone else's marriage. Didn't work out. I'm not married. Never been married. Don't think I'm going to get married. As I've already told you, according to my friend Lindsay, if I do get married, I can't call it my wedding. I've got to call it Graham's big fat hypocrite party, because I just can't see myself standing in front of all my family and friends and saying, I'm definitely not going to get with anyone else for the rest of my life except for this person here. Because I don't know what's going to happen. Who can see the future? Well, why declare it in front of everyone? I just don't. Okay, maybe if you changed the vows a little bit and you said, we're going to stay together until we don't want to be together anymore, that might work for me. But we're going to stay together till the day we die. What, you fucking... What? Anyway, yeah. But the stupidity of the institution of marriage aside, I think most people just get married for tax purposes. Is that right? Probably. The marriage didn't work between Prince Charles and Princess Diana. They were both having affairs. They were both in love with other people. They were both, thoroughly miserable in their marriage. And when it all shook out, the media didn't half come down harder on Princess Diana than they did on Prince Charles, which is not surprising, because we have immense double standards in our country and our planet, which is this: if a man cheats, then that's okay, because that's what men do. But if a woman cheats, oh my God, how dare you? That's the worst thing you can do, which is slightly hypocritical. It's very hypocritical, but that was the situation. It still is, isn't it? But that was the situation in the 1990s. And even on the day that she died, there was a hatchet piece in the Daily Mail. No, the Mail on Sunday it would have been, because it was a Sunday. It was Saturday night when she died. About the way that the clothes she wore. Just basically one of these fucking pieces by some commentator, a columnist. Oh, there you go, a royal columnist. What do you do? I write columns. What about? Oh, anything off the top of my head. Oh, right. So what kind of thing? Well, sometimes I'll write something like, I went out the other day and there were loads of people out and then I came back. Oh, fucking hell, that's fascinating. Sometimes I'll write things like, I don't like this thing. What, you just tell everyone what you don't like? Yeah. I just say I don't like this thing. Okay. Can you do that in my newspaper and people will read it and we'll pay you £1,000 a week to do it? Yeah, that sounds great. Fuck me sideways. Anyway, so there was an article that went out in an early edition of the Mail on Sunday. Obviously, when it was confirmed that Princess Diana had died about 4 o'clock in the morning, all of the newspapers had to be reprinted with a new front cover and a big tribute about the Princess of Our Hearts. I doubt they had the obituaries already written out. I don't know if they do for someone as famous as Diana. I guess they might have done that, but I don't remember. But up to that point, Diana was the worst. She was the absolute worst. And do you know what makes it even worse? She was dating the son of Mohammed Al Fayed. She was dating a Muslim, which the British people didn't like. Do you see any parallels here? Do you see any? But then as soon as she died, she was amazing. We loved her, really. We were only joking when we said that she was a bitch and we called her names and said that she was a slag and all the horrible things we said about her. We didn't really mean all that because she's dead now. Everyone's a bastard till they're dead, obviously. But yeah, what I can't stand is why people who hate Harry and Meghan, this is Graham, not me, different Graham, watching a program about Harry and Meghan. If you don't like it, why are you watching it? Well, that's what I was going to get to. So these people are told by the media to hate Meghan. What do you hate about her? And you get the same sort of responses that you get when you ask someone what they hate about Hillary Clinton, because it's got nothing. Hillary Clinton's boring. She's just like the Lisa Simpson of fucking American politics. She's got nothing to her. Do you know what I mean? She's dull. That's her biggest crime. And so they go, oh, well, she's really smug. You're like, what? She's smug. Yeah, I don't like that. They sort of project these attributes to people. It's a bit of projection, definitely just projection on some people's part, but in a way that they do to women that they don't do to men. So, and a way that some people do to someone who comes from an ethnic background more than they do for someone who comes from a white background. I'll give you an example. I think it was Eamon Holmes or something described Meghan as uppity. Uppity. When have you heard that word before? Uppity. It's a bit problematic, that, because you never really hear that about a white woman, do you? Or a white man? Yeah. You know the word that normally comes after uppity? I'm not going to say it on this show, but you know what it is. You don't use that kind of language when you're talking about someone who's literally committed no crime, who's done absolutely nothing wrong, except married the man she loves. How dare she? And be black in the process. And it is remarkable the difference between how Prince Harry's wife has been treated and how Prince William's wife has been treated. Compare and contrast. Look at how the media treated Harry's mum and look how they're treating his wife. And no wonder they left the country. I mean, good. I'm glad they left because, it was nice to get that one last photograph of them in the rain, and then they just went, right, we're out of here, fuck yous all, and went on to live over in America and then subsequently Canada, I think. But the point is that they couldn't stay here. Why couldn't they stay here? Well, because the media were making their lives an absolute misery, and it got to a point where Meghan was seriously considering suicide. Trigger warning, suicide. When she was pregnant. Because she just felt alone. She felt like she was being attacked all the time. And I'll give you an example, all right? Because I know this is going to sound a bit shit, but my comments here. You guys are lovely, always. I get very rarely get someone on here calling me a cunt, right? Except for Wayne, but he's me mate, so he can call me a cunt. What is Gambusters? Well, a Gambuster is someone who makes gammon's blood vessels burst. Bust a blood vessel. So gammon. It's like Dan Bust. Sorry, it was a terrible pun. I just thought it'd be funny because Harry and Meghan wind up the gammon so much that I just imagine them just kind of exploding in unison at the news that they've made a documentary. How dare they? How bloody dare they? And the arguments used against them are fucking hilarious. They're like, oh, well, you know, they shouldn't be making, they should be making their own money. Okay, well, we're going to leave the country and make our own money. No, not like that. Okay, anyway, look, sometimes I get horrible comments. I got one once. I'll have to read it out to you at some point, and it was the funniest fucking comment I've ever got on social media. I might have a copy of it, actually, on my... I'm sure that I dug it out the other day. So I'm just going to have a quick search for it on my desktop. You talk amongst yourselves while I search for comments. Yeah, my computer is so slow. It just does not like... I think I saved it as like worst comment ever. Oh, best comment ever! Yes! Okay, so where is that? That is in... Okay. I might get this up on the screen. Should I get this up? Do you want to see my best comment ever? Just give me a moment. Okay. Right. Okay. So it's in there. Right. I'll try and bring it up on the screen in a way that doesn't, upset the apple cart too much. But believe me, this will be worth waiting for, even though it's probably going to be so small on the screen that you're not going to be able to read it. But you're pissed with the dick you got, right? So here we go, and I'm just going to look for the image now in here. Sorry, I know this is a fucking pain in the ass. I'll just type. I've got to go into the search box and type in comments because that will make the picture come up. I'm just in a folder with loads of stupid shit in it. Is it me, David? No, it's not you. Graham's channel is a nice community. Oh, thank you, T-Football. This is a comment that I got. Oh, it's not even searching. What is wrong with you Windows today, you boss? Oh, there we go. Okay, so... that is, okay, here we go. Right, I'm going to make it come up on the screen above me here. So I hope you can read it. If you can't, never mind. It's pretty low res, but here we go. So this is my favorite comment of all time ever, which was put on a video of me. It was an interview that I did, I think, maybe for the BBC or something like that, about my journey to every country in the world without flying. And I was just talking about my travels and how exciting it was and how many lovely people I met. And I had Sarah Gaggenheimer saying, typical insufferable male, traveling across the global, raping and pillaging wherever you go. Okay. Instead of bring torment to women in other nations, how about you do something productive in your own country, like volunteering at an animal shelter or working with children? Actually, never mind, you would probably rape the children. Sick fuck. Thanks for that, Sarah. Well, I've got to say, the day that arrived, it really put a bounce in my stride. Yeah, that was the best comment I've ever got. Wow. Wow. And do you know what? I've made hundreds, possibly thousands of videos over the last 20 years, actually. No, fucking hell. Jesus. 23 years that I've been making. Oh, God, it's longer than that. 97. Christ. 25. Oh, God, I'm old. All right. So I've been making thousands of videos over the last 25 years. And I don't normally get comments like that. That's like a bit out there. So if I do get a comment like that, I'm sure to screen cap it. So I've got it for future use just to make people laugh, I guess. But imagine that. Imagine that level of vitriol, right? Accusing you of something that you haven't fucking done. Saying that you need to stop doing what you're doing and do something else. But actually, don't do that thing because you'll just fuck that up as well, won't you? You useless human being. You useless fucking wanker. Imagine having messages like that several times a day. Every day. 365 days of the year. That's what Meghan Markle had to put up with. From the fucking newspapers and the comment section on the Mail Online. I know. I saw the comments. Fucking hell. It was a doom scrolling experience. It really was. Calling her for all sorts. And there was only one reason for it. There is only one reason for it. Because she's black. That's it. That's the one reason. And the fact that she has done so well for herself before she met Prince Harry. And now that she's married and, settled down, a couple of kids, and she's happy with her husband. They seem very much in love. And people are like, no, the fairy tale can't end that way. Why not? Well, it can't. It's not right. It's got to end in tragedy or something. We've got to split them up. Why? Because he just give us a reason that makes you sound not like a racist. Go on. I'll wait. Give me a reason why you hate Meghan Markle that makes you absolutely not sound like a racist in any way, shape, or form. Good luck with that. Yoni says, that's one uplifting comment. That one, says Yoni. Yeah, no. That user does not know how adorable you are. No, I don't think she does. Maybe she does. Maybe she knows me really well. Maybe it's just one of my very close friends. And she was just like, yeah. Some people know only hate. Yeah, just me in videos. You know what? When you say just some people only know hate, it's like there's a lot of people out there who are not happy. They're not happy, so they have to project their unhappiness onto other people. And they have this thing in their head that people have a station in life. And if you're a woman, you have this station below men. If you are a black woman, you have a station below white women and white people in general. If you were born in a different country, you have a station below or above. Like if you go to Qatar, for instance, in the news, the society there is so stratified. You have the Qataris who are given a fucking pocket money off the government of like, I don't know, £10,000 a week or something fucking mad. They have UBI over in Qatar, which is because the population of Qatar, left to its own devices, was only about 500,000, if that. I think it's about 400,000 Qataris actually live in Qatar. The vast majority of the population is made up of immigrant workers. Now, the white immigrant workers, the expats, they're at the next level. So you've got the Qataris at the top, then you've got the next level. Then, arguably, you've got other Arabs. So you've got people from Saudi Arabia, you've got people from the UAE, you've got people from Kuwait. Then you've got the tier below that, which is your lower tier Arabs, which are people from, well, I'm saying Arabs, but they're not from the Arabian Peninsula, but their culture is Arabic. So, people from Egypt, for instance, who come over as migrant workers. And then you got people from the Indian subcontinent who come over, who are seen as sort of below them. And then if you are a Filipino woman living in Qatar, your life isn't going to be great. Living in Kuwait, your life's not going to be great. Living in UAE, your life's not going to be too good. I mean, I'm just guessing. I heard some fucking horrific stories when I was over there. I heard stories of maids, Filipino maids, being locked in a fucking house for 3 weeks while the family were away, so they didn't run away when the family wasn't there. So the family went on holiday for 3 weeks, and they imprisoned a Filipino maid, their maid, in the house, so they couldn't escape. Apparently, one of the places that had the what was it? It was some fucking crazy statistic, but there were literally hundreds of Filipino women in, I think, the embassy in the Filipino embassy in Qatar. Literally hundreds of women living there, waiting to get back to bloody the Philippines, who had just run away from the family that they were looking after, or the exploitative sex trade that they'd been forced into. I mean, it was pretty fucking grim. But you saw this society, you saw it, as clear as fucking day, that there was this strata of society. And if anyone tried to get ideas above their station, they needed to be fucking hammered back down with a hammer. And yeah, we've got the same thing. We've got the same fucking thing in the UK. And people go, you got ideas above your station. I'm not having this. How can a commoner marry a king? How can a commoner marry a prince? A commoner, Ideas above her station, Princess Diana. Commoner. She wasn't a commoner. But, people saw her as a commoner because she wasn't the cousin of Prince Charles, I guess. I don't know how it works. It's all a bit weird. You do know that Prince Philip was literally the cousin of the Queen. I think first cousins. Yeah. Anyway, better not talk about gays in Qatar. Yes, I know, David, you can't be gay in Qatar, which is just heartbreaking. It's just like the fact that They've got you've seen me go off on one about the fact that they got the World Cup, which I disagree with vehemently. But we're talking about Meghan and Harry today because the documentary has dropped, or at least the first half of the documentary has dropped. Dr. Luther King, I have a dream. Trolls, something, gazpacho. Why aren't you helping the poor? What's gazpacho? Can't do anything. Gazpacho soup. Rimmer's last words. Yeah, indeed. Something. Why are you not helping the poor? Well, yeah, I mean, trolls will always find something to go, oh, you should be doing this. Or when we were talking about Qatar, and people were like, yeah, but what about all the slaves who died building the pyramids? And you're just like, fucking hell, I can't even be bothered to. Why? Probably they weren't slaves, but even if they were, like literally 4,000 years ago, mate, nothing I can do about it. Nothing I can do about it. But what Harry and Meghan Markle in particular has done has just really, really shone a light on something that we know, that the UK is absolutely polarized. It is so polarized, and you can bet your bottom dollar someone who really, really hates Meghan Markle probably voted for Brexit. They probably vote Conservative. They probably think Nigel Farage is a stand-up guy. They probably watch Gammon Box News. They probably read the Daily Mail. There's a type, isn't there? And someone's going to at me for being ageist here. They generally are older people. Younger people tend not to give a fuck. They care a lot more about the planet than older people, obviously, as we see. But when it comes to other people's relationships, who people choose to love, and how they express that love, as long as it's consensual, like, what's the problem? Oh no, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. You can't fall in love like that. You can't fall in love with that person. You can't have sex in that position. No. You're doing it all wrong. Like, what the fuck? What weird little salad finger creeps are going around people's, peering through the windows, royal watchers. Oh, you're doing it wrong. Tapping on the window. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. I'm watching you. Should be doing it like this. Fucking weirdos. So who hates Meghan? Racists and weirdos. Weirdo racists. And until someone can tell me, maybe someone can in the chat, I'm forever young, Arrested Development. If someone can tell me in the chat what Meghan has done that justifies the level of vitriol that was levelled against her by, and it still is levelled against her by the British press. While you're having a think about that, I'm going to have a little think about having a look at tomorrow's papers today, because I'm really interested to see if the papers are out yet. So they tend to come out about 10 o'clock, so they might be out yet. Okay, so The Independent. Oh, okay. What have we got? We've only got 4 papers at the moment. We've got The Independent. We have got the I newspaper. We've got the Metro, and we've got the Financial Times. Harry and Meghan on the front of The Independent, and they're also on the front of the Metro, but not the Financial Times. The Financial Times has a picture of, I don't know, it looks like the baddie from RoboCop, but we'll come back to that. So I'll just refresh that in a moment. Anyway, so yeah, back to Harry and Meghan. So the reason why I called tonight's episode The Gambusters is because I've got to say that I secretly love Meghan Markle. Particularly the part of Meghan Markle's existence that enrages the Gammons so much. I know that's probably a little bit sadistic, maybe a little bit hypocritical, sitting here talking about love, but the Gammons have too much control in this country, and they're mad as a cut snake. They make no sense. They just blurt gibberish at you. Go out with a camera, ask a gammon a question, any question. The answer that comes back will be fucking gibberish, because their brains have turned to mush. I think they grew up in a time when everyone smoked, when there was lead in the fumes of the cars, lead in the paint, lead in the fucking soft drinks probably. I mean, just the amount of toxins in an average person who's sort of over the age of 60, maybe 70. I mean, it can't be good. Do you ever get rid of mercury? Does it just stay in your body forever? Does it just... I don't know. I just think that like something's happened. Some toxic thing has happened. I mean, these are the people who lived in the nuclear age. They were kids, literal kids, when the US and the Soviet Union were testing nuclear bombs all over the shop like a pork chop. I mean, I grew up in the 90s. I remember Jacques Chirac, the then president of France, testing nuclear weapons in the Pacific. And everyone was like, what are you doing? Oh, I've got to test these. But what the fuck was going through their fucking heads? No, we've got to test these nuclear weapons. I don't think you do. Yeah, we've got to test them. We've got to test them. Oh, great. Okay. It's actually true in extremely rare condition. Yeah. Oh, and look, you know, number 3, obviously, is awesome. And I'm not a word said against him. And I'm not saying this is all people who are older. My mum is older. And she's great. She didn't vote for Brexit. She voted against Brexit. She doesn't vote Tory. She thinks they're all a bunch of fucking crooks. And yeah, unfortunately, in her cohort, the people that she, you know, knows in everyday life who are the same age as her, she's probably the only one, even in Liverpool, who is that way inclined to say, well, you know, the right-wing gutter press are just bullshit. And I mean, when I was talking about this poison in the air and it's about lead and arsenic and mercury and stuff and asbestos and fucking Legionnaire's disease and whatever else they invented in the 1960s, there's also the toxic drip of misinformation from the Daily Mail and the Sun and the fucking Express and the Daily Telegraph for some reason these days, which just turned into a fucking tabloid. Although pate is a French word, so they won't like that. Brains of gammon pate. Indeed, they don't like French words. Choksal, just joining. Hi all. Just found out that Dr. DP Gurdasani left the UK to live in Australia. Couldn't stand the atmosphere anymore. She was getting grief for whistleblowing too. Indeed. Hey Graham, you'll never guess who's still supporting the Tories. Gammon Box News, a Daily Mail. Everyone with money in the country who's a selfish arsehole and doesn't want to pay tax. Hey, I'm in UK for a month. What a time to visit, says Sam Uso 86. Oh, brilliant. Should drop in. I'm going to be in Liverpool over the weekend if you want to come meet me. Yeah, indeed. Oh, my family. Sorry, that's Duke Venture's question about who's still a fucking Tory. Mate, I can't. I've said this before as well. I've got to stop saying it. It's become a bit of my fucking catchphrases. But my dad would have been well into all this Brexit shit. He would have loved it. He would have been like, yay, Brexit, we're getting our sovereignty back. Take that, Brussels. And I'll be having such massive rows with him if he hadn't got really ill with dementia. And that is the one silver lining of his illness, is that I'm not having those rows with him right now. But there's a part of me that would quite enjoy to have those rows if it just meant that I could have another day of my dad being my dad. But yeah, you know how it is. But yeah, it is crazy that after all the Tories have done, there are still people who support them. I mean, how much? Don't these people have any dignity? Don't they have any self-respect? You know, these people have pissed on them from a great height in every way they could be pissed on. And they're like, do you know what I mean? I know some people are into that. But like, fucking what? Like, how bad did it have to be? What would the Tories have to do in order to get that hardcore of 25% of the electorate who will always vote Tory? What do they have to do to make them change their mind? That's quite remarkable. It's like, you know, a mother whose son has been done for some horrific murder or something and say, oh, he's still me boy, I still love him. And you're like, fucking, what would it take? What would it take? Well, you know, it's your mother's love. Okay, fair enough. I understand it's a mother's love. The Tories, though, what the fuck's that got to do with anyone? It's like some people on the telly in a room, in a building in London, talking like a bunch of twats, and stealing our money and murdering our old people. Yeah, people argue, stop being ageist, Graham. Fucking hell. If I'm ageist, right, what are the fucking Tories who killed 20,000 old people by not locking down early enough and then saying, oh, we're going to put a protective ring around the care homes, which a protective ring of COVID, essentially, which They told people to leave the hospitals and go into care homes knowing they had COVID, knowing they were ill with the deadliest disease that had hit mankind for 100 fucking years. My God. Give gold to Graham. Gambusters. Oh, thank you, Richard. Number 3 gives me £2. So yeah, Super Chat's still open. I'm going to be rabbiting on for a few more minutes yet. I was bullied. I was bullied in school. And number 3 was saying about being bullied. I'm so sorry about people getting bullied in school. It's so shit. And those scars can last a lifetime. And it doesn't stop. That's the thing. It's like, if you look at that comment that someone left me, obviously there's a bit of a reverse dynamic here because I'm male and it was supposedly a woman who wrote that. So I think I feel a little bit less bullied in a way that I would if the genders were switched, or if it was a man writing that and it was someone who had power over me for whatever reason. And don't forget, bullies in school generally have power over the other children and they exploit that power. There's a tyrannical power relationship, and the internet should be a safe haven away from that, but it's the complete fucking opposite. And people get bullied to shit on the internet. We see this, especially with female or women commentators, content providers, content creators. And you'll see, I'll write something slagging off Jeremy Corbyn on Twitter and I'll get like 3 responses calling me a cunt. That's it, If someone like Supertansky slags off Jeremy Corbyn on Twitter, she gets thousands and thousands of people piling on, projecting the most horrific insults at her. Personal, deeply personal, disgusting insults at her. And it's bullying. It's a pile-on. And sometimes you have people like Owen Jones encouraging these pile-ons onto people. Oh, look what this person said. Destroy them. And all the little familiars are there with the keyboards. Now, look, I've got absolutely no problem with people taking the piss mightily out of millionaires, out of millionaire politicians in particular. But when it comes to people who are just trying to, make ends meet, just normal people, and they get these massive pile-ons on the internet for daring raise their voice. And what all these bullies are saying, effectively, is shut up. Is shut up, shut up, shut up. And that brings me back to Harry and Meghan. That's what the Gammonati, that's what the fucking Mail and the Express and the Sun, that's what they wanted. They wanted them to shut up and go away. They wanted them to sit in a box quietly, not bothering anyone, and then they can come out of the box now and again to open something and smile, and then go back in the box. Don't upset the apple cart. No alarms and no surprises, please. And because they didn't do that, and because they were like, oh, fuck this, we're out of here, when the newspapers were just making up mad shit about Meghan and expecting, Harry to be cool with that. I mean, would you be cool about them saying that about your partner? I wouldn't. I would go fucking ape shit. Burn down the fucking newspaper fucking officers. Seal the fucking exits first. I mean, seriously, I would not fucking stand for it. And Harry, bless him, he put his wife first. Which is what you're supposed to do, isn't it? If you're a decent human being. But what all these fuckers, what all these newspapers and the gammon that read the newspapers and these commenters and these bullies online, all they want in the world is to win. Is to say to that person, someone in the public eye, shut up, and that person shuts up. And if that person shuts up by killing themselves, that's the biggest victory these sad little fucks will ever have in their entire pathetic existence. Because that's all they've got. And that's awful. That's awful that we have got these people who have got nothing else in their life to feel proud of, or that makes them happy. Obviously their partner doesn't. Obviously their children don't. Their car doesn't. The house over the roof over their heads doesn't. Their job doesn't. The pint down the pub doesn't. The special fucking brew they drink in the park doesn't. Like, nothing. All that makes them happy is the idea that they had the power corrupts, to bully someone to death. And they'd be like, yes, we did it. We got rid of them. We shut them up for good. And every time I see messages, especially to women on the internet, especially to any women who dare talk out in politics, it's always shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Why are you talking about this? What about this? What about that? What about the other? You know, always trying to shut them down because they want them to shut up and go away. And it's pathetic. And you know what? Harry and Meghan, I know they left the country, but they didn't really go away. And they didn't shut up. So cheers to them. Well done, Harry and Meghan. Thank you. I don't know if I'm going to watch the entire show, but I might sit down and, you know, when you're sort of working on something else, but you're watching the show at the same time. Anyway, so we have the Express now, and we have the Star. And what else? They're still whining about Corbyn, says Duke. The Labour files look interesting in his defence, but he still bollocks Brexit. He could have come out from the Remain side. Remain had no say in that entire debate. Indeed. To bring Gambuster into protective, RIP Johnny Johnson, last member of Operation Chastise, stood for everything the Gammons seem to represent. Stood for everything the Gammons seem to represent? No, hang on. Wasn't he the guy who was one of the Gambusters? Didn't one of the Gambusters die? That was my shit. That was my shit connection with the title. But yeah, I don't think they stood for everything the Gammons seem to represent. I think they stand for everything the Gammons seem to resent, because a lot of Gammon think that the wrong side won World War II. Anyway, Freckle Puny, you don't know why so many working class people vote Tory? Watch Till Death Us Do Part, Alf Garnett, Steptoe and Son, Albert Steptoe. These comedies gave us great insight. Yeah. Well, people thought that Alf Garnett was the hero when he was like, he was the person that people were laughing at, in the same way that Rigsby from Advising Damp or Basil Fawlty from Fawlty Towers, they were there to be laughed at. They were the comedy. Do you know what I mean? Everyone else was just getting on with what they were doing, but you were supposed to laugh at those people. You weren't supposed to go, yeah, Alf Garnett, he's got a good point. Anyway, so I'm going to just give you a quick little look at the papers. I don't know why I did that. Just give me a moment to bring it up onto the screen, and you can see it with me. So I'm just reading something off screen, which I think is quite rude when people do that. It's rude, you know, because I don't know why it's rude. It just is. Let me see. Oh, for God's sake. Why can't I just right click and full screen it? Why do I have to FN and bloody F11? There we go. Right, here we go. Something about Holmes under the hammer here. So anyway, so hurtful. Royals deeply upset by Harry's... What's that? Slur. It's slurs. The word is slurs. The royal family are deeply upset after Prince Harry fired a fresh Slavo. I don't know if I understand how to pronounce that. In his war on the monarchy. Okay. In an incendiary Netflix democracy. Sorry, it's not. It's quite pedestrian, actually. It's not really Diana's interview with Martin Bashir. Or at least not yet. Not yet. Let's have a look. In an incendiary Netflix documentary series, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex also provoked a row with palace officials over whether they gave the royals a right to reply. Well, there you go. So the Star's verdict, the official verdict on the £90 million Netflix series, it's not as good as Holmes Under the Hammer. Okay. TV chiefs accused of telling yet another whopper. Leading man trashes entire royal family. Leading lady tells of awkward hug with Kate. Honestly, the show is really... like, I've read the reviews of it, and they're like, well, nothing much happens in it. It's just about them meeting and how they met, and the newspapers are bad. If we go down to the Independent here, we've got Harry, Meghan, and the Netflix hype. Jesse Thompson reviews the first instalment of the Royal Company's much promoted documentary series. I don't think much promoted. He only did the first fucking promotional video like literally last week. It wasn't like... anyway. And then these anti-strike laws could make strikes worse, admits government. Wah, wah, wah. That's our government for you. And then we've got the Metro saying there's going to be Bring on the Crunch, which is tomorrow. I think the French are going to beat England. I don't necessarily. I don't care either way. I'm not watching the Qatar World Cup. I just like the idea of a lot of gammons crying. Harry's dig at Wills and Kate. Royals don't marry for love. There you go. Yes. But they can now. The Queen did, and then Prince Charles did the second time. Anyway, and then there's this guy here who looks like the baddie from RoboCop. Oh, thanks for that, Graham. Yeah, don't mention it. Right, back to the war on error. So yeah, I'm gonna pack up and say goodnight then, because it's just past 10 o'clock. So it's doing that thing where the page won't go back to normal, and then I'll press. You've got to press like the FN key, and then you've got to press F11. And then, but if you want to print the screen, you've got to press the Windows key and then print screen. But then that's also the button for turning off your Wi-Fi. So if you accidentally press FN and the print screen button, it turns off your Wi-Fi. And it's just like, who designs this shit? You got all these fucking keys to use, and they decide to use it. Do you know the one that people are going to use to copy stuff off the internet? Yeah. Let's use the same key to turn off the internet. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, so where am I with your comments? Sorry, I've missed a few comments here. Why is everything a war to these people? Because they're just fucking weirdos. Now, apply some principles to the human population. Indeed, it's a feature, not a bug. They need bad strikes so they can legislate them away and justify terminating them with prejudice. Indeed. Most royal commentators tutting right now need the controversy of Harry and Meghan to create an endless story. Indeed. If Harry and Meghan didn't exist, they would have to be invented in order to sell fucking newspapers to dickheads. And do you know what the moral of the story is? We shouldn't have taught dickheads how to read. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. I'm going to love it. Someone makes like a super cut of all my shit that I say on these things. I'm in so much trouble. So thank you very much for watching. I'll be back on Monday with some more War on Error. And next week, I think, is last Prime Minister's Questions before Christmas. I don't know, but I'll be back for that as well. So 9 o'clock on Monday. I'll see you then. Probably. Unless something goes wrong or I forget. It's happened before. Until next time, thanks for watching. Thank you to all my patrons, to all my people who gave super chats, and people who are my YouTube members, and everyone who commented tonight. And yeah, I like meeting up. Cheers, Phil. I like meeting up and having these chats and bringing in your comments. And number 3 says elephant training: chain an orphan baby to a tree, then have its master raise it until useful years later, then unchain and continue with the big beast still tied to the tree. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so Lefty Bozy says ta-da. We got Casper saying night everyone, take care. Got Sam saying thanks Graham, and it's a like for me. Oh, thank you. If you want to drop a like on the way out, you're very welcome to. So until next time, thanks for watching, and hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.